everyone! Today I'm taking a look at the Asashio, an upcoming premium Japanese destroyer. Keep in mind this ship is still a work in progress and anything you see here might still change. So I can only talk about the current test version. Now, I'm showing you a match here in the background. It's a tier 9 battle, so I guess pretty much average what you see in your matchmaking. There isn't much raid around, they only have a Missouri, there are a lot of enemy destroyers. And all of those destroyers are better gunboats than me. Because the biggest weakness of the Asashio are most likely the guns. Now the biggest strength are their torpedoes. You have 8 torpedoes, they are pretty fast, I think 67 knots. They hit like a truck and they have 20 kilometers range. They are also pretty stealthy, but they can only hit battleships and carriers. So you can not hit destroyers or cruisers. Now here I'm spotted by the Loyang, but I'm not really much afraid because I have a cover here. And I do have the majority of my team behind me as support. Now this ship is pretty stealthy with 5.4 kilometers concealment. So you can go and take capture points. It's just you need support. You are basically a scout. So you can go scout the enemy team. You can also go into a capture point and scout for enemy destroyers in there. But once you see them, you pretty much need help. Now here this is more like a panic smoke, I suppose. There wasn't that much point to it, honestly. The smoke might still be useful if you look... Well, we have a New Orleans here, 5 kilometers. He could still come in here. Profit from it. The problem is it's a Loyang and a Yolang is Hydro, but it's unlikely that he wants to commit to this side of the island. So it's unlikely that he is chasing me here. And with that much support, I'm not really afraid of anything. So you can take this ship and you can go take caps because you are sneaky. But keep in mind that you will need help. And here we can see in action what those torpedoes do to battleships. So honestly, this ship was designed by someone who doesn't like battleships very much or who thought we need a solution to the battleship problem. Now a Fletcher is around here as well. And I could be firing my guns, but currently I'd rather just turn away. The enemy team doesn't have that many ships this close. So once again, I'm not really afraid here. And there are torpedoes coming. You can also see here the turrets turn very slowly. And I probably should have taken some shots here. I just don't want to get devastated by all those battleships. I want to devastate those battleships myself. So what I'm mostly afraid of is if the ship gets released in this version, you will see a lot of people just flanking, sailing around at the outskirts and trying to torp battleships at 20 kilometers without ever getting close to an objective. And you see, I didn't even put much effort into it and I've already done, what, 176,000 points of damage. We're only a few minutes in. And it's not because I was playing well, it's just because I have overpowered torpedoes and, well, those battleships did make it somewhat easy. And in defense of those battleships, they probably aren't even aware what my ship is capable of. They might have thought they are perfectly safe and don't have to avoid torpedoes. And once you see those torpedoes, it's already too late. So overall, I think this ship can be a lot of fun to play. It's probably really frustrating for enemy battleships. And you are somewhat matchmaking dependent, since you're a torpedo boat, but you can only hit battleships, so, well, areas. Which means if there are lots of cruisers and destroyers, you are in trouble. Now you can always smoke up and use your guns, but your DPM is pretty sad. And you are not winning any 1 versus 1 fights against other destroyers. Now the obvious solution is don't get in a 1 versus 1 fight and bring some friends. I really think with the good concealment, you still can go fight for caps without a problem. I'm just afraid that most people won't see it that way. and won't even try. Now I've played like 15 to 20 battles in this ship, and my approach of going after cap points has been very successful. You just have to make sure that you got backup from your team and that you have your escape routes available. And of course, in any tier 8 and above ship, you have to be very aware of radar or maybe other destroyers with hydro. And look, I'm hitting some battleships again. Now, meanwhile, my team has taken A, and we will eventually take C, I suppose, because it's not looking too bad here. We have a lot of ships here. We have 2 Missouris here inside the cap zone with their radar. So it's only a matter of time until we can make sure that the enemy destroyers have to get away. Now I should have once again taken a shot. I'm very careful with my guns here. Usually my approach in this destroyer has been in a cap circle. Don't open fire on other destroyers unless they are very low or you are already detected. Because your concealment is a very powerful tool. And it allows you to spot for your team, and it allows you to contest capture points. And in many times I've just been in the capture zone, spotted an enemy destroyer, didn't do anything, and just let my team shoot them. Or force them to smoke. Now, you can't even go fishing in smoke with your torpedoes. And if cruisers get very aggressive against you, you have no real defense. So, in those regards, I'm a bit torn. This ship certainly has the potential of some frustrating matches, but then again, it can happen in other destroyers as well. Also, I've had matches where basically I went to a capture point and I realized all enemy battleships went on the other side. In this case, you feel a bit more useless, I suppose. But don't be afraid to fire your guns if you, example, have another destroyer who is already engaged with an enemy destroyer or something like that. While those guns are pretty bad, they can still do some damage. And you can always just smoke up and use them like this. Now honestly, I was expecting the Scharnhorst to come here bow on, and I'm afraid he is turning away now. Maybe I should have anticipated that, but I did not. Now here is a shores, and I ventured too close because I didn't pay much attention, so now I'm using smoke. The Loyang is spotted. I'm opening up, but yeah, he's already going down. So I've popped my smoke here, which means I can just use my guns and, well, pew-pew a little bit. Now I don't have the skill for the turret traverse, and it would be really useful on this ship, but since you are not really relying on your guns that much anyway, it's probably 2 wasted points in the end. Now here you can see it's just the reload is way too slow. And you have 2 turrets on the back, 1 at the front. But I mean, they are sufficient to do a little bit of damage. Now overall this battle isn't looking too bad, we are ahead. And while we are currently losing A, we are still 1 ship ahead, and hopefully we can get the Iowa here. The Iowa is currently showing quite a bit of broadside towards the Missouri. We have a Musashi here also closing in, and yes, now only 2 destroyers left. And we still have 4 ships. We have a points lead, and while we are 1 capture zone behind, now can just take the center. Now the Charles Martel here is asking for support, and I'll try to give it. At this point I should probably just, well, I could be using speedboats and getting closer here. The problem is that our battleships aren't close to the front. They can provide limited support against the destroyer at those ranges. And I mean, the enemies are also behind islands. So the Charles Martel is here a bit too aggressive. He should have just avoided. We have the time, right? If he turned around, got closer to us, and then we pushed in as a team, maybe get me in the front because I can go spot those guys. And this would have been a lot simpler. But then again, other ships are obviously not aware of my capabilities. Unfortunately, I'm afraid the Charles Martel is getting shot by both enemy destroyers. And well, I mean, the Yogumo is on very low health. I would have no trouble taking out this Yogumo in a gunfight. Yakisuki, on the other hand, I'm not sure how much health he has left, and obviously I don't want to get into a fight with both of them on my own. Now the Missouri, let's hope he has radar charges left. I'll go around this way, let the Missouri catch up, and hope that the Missouri has firing solution on whatever I can spot. But yeah, so this destroyer, my verdict would be it's a lot of fun. It's very powerful against battleships, probably too powerful. And yeah, your guns are pretty much a letdown, but that's probably needed for balancing reasons. So Yogumo is very low, so let's finish off the Yogumo first. And now all we have to do is take out the Akisuki. Of course, he has probably launched torpedoes and I'm not paying any attention. I'm reacting a little bit too slow here. And I'm trying to slow down and turn, but the torpedo gets me. Had I reacted a bit fast, I probably could have avoided those. With the gun traverse on those turrets and the majority of the guns located backwards, I was not willing to turn in sooner because I thought I could just gun him down before he gets me and end this game. But you know, my team pulled through and this was a victory. So here we are with my final thoughts and the results, and keep in mind this is a work in progress, so it might change completely before it gets released. I had a lot of fun playing this, but I don't think it's a good addition to the game in its current form. The torpedoes are just too punishing for battleships, they can't really do anything about this, the range is too insane, they are very stealthy, they are very fast, battleships get completely wrecked by them. And it doesn't take an awful lot of skill to wreck battleships with them, and I think that's not a good thing. It might drive battleships even further away from the battle, so they are hacking zone walls even harder. And while this ship has good concealment and go take capture points, I feel like most players wouldn't use that feature, but they would just stay safe and torpedo from 20 kilometers away in the hopes of devastating battleships. So ultimately I feel like it will negatively impact the gameplay overall. While this ship might be in some weird form balanced and a lot of fun for the person who plays it, I feel like it will be less fun for everybody else in the game. And that might just be a very bad design. So let's see what Wargaming does with it. And I'll see you guys next time.